we had like a few PAs trying to look at stuff, and we had a gaffer, and he's just like really serious, like face. It's like, hey, could you go and bring me a dolly keys, please? And dolly keys is not a thing.
Welcome to Shoot the Shit, a podcast that tells the unfiltered tales of filmmakers' craziest production and on-set experiences.
Because every shit situation on set makes for a great story after. I'm Taylor, a director and editor.
And I'm Kristen, also a director and editor and creative producer here at No Longer Network. And today we're talking with Davÿd Asambadze, a director and cinematographer.
Hey,
welcome
hello,
to
hello.
the show.
Hi, it's a pleasure to be here.
Thanks for joining us. I mean, Davÿd, we've both worked with you before. We know who you are. You're a friend and family maker in filmmaking here at No Longer Network. But we are excited to jump into some stories. But before that, can you just give us like a brief overview of your experience in the film industry so far?
So far, basically the core of my experience started when I moved to Los Angeles about almost 8.5 years ago. So basically back in Russia / Georgia, I kind of like have two home countries. I was really like into music mostly, but I was always shooting things kind of on the side. I was always interested in photography and motion picture and films in general. So basically, once I moved here to Los Angeles, that's when I pretty much figured out. It's like, okay, music is great. I love music with all my heart, but it's not the final goal. It's not the goal that I'm kind of pursuing. And basically from there, I started like shooting really, really small jobs, like pretty much anything that I can get, focused on kind of more narrative short films, sometimes music videos, but pretty much mostly narrative. And then kind of like expanding the network, meeting new people, because like I kind of started from zero. So basically I didn't have anyone here. So I've done my, my hours of hard labor in terms of like moving jobs and Lyft driving and food deliveries while in parallel shooting and editing and doing pretty much anything that kind of at least faintly connects to filmmaking. And then I was shooting my things like the personal things and also other people's films, and in parallel kind of growing on the professional level as a first AC, and I was always like into technical things, and I love cameras and lenses and everything that pretty much involves film equipment and film gear, lighting as well. So I really dove into it, learned a lot of things, met a lot of DPs. Through those DPs, met directors, producers, and like kind of dove deeper into this world. And then slowly but surely, I kind of got myself into shooting better films, better scripts, and I would say from like 2 years ago that was my first feature, and since then I shot 5 features as a cinematographer so far. Not a big things, but nothing crazy, but I'm proud of it, and that's what actually gave me this impulse of hey, do you want to try and write your own thing? You always had ideas. You always had, if you open my notes on my iPhone or my read like a paper notebooks, there's always like a note of, oh, the film about this, film about that, and basically, bringing all this from years and years ago. I last year I wrote my uh, short film, which is proof of concept as well, and shot it as a director and writer. And first time in my life, I worked with other cinematographer, and that was freaky as hell.
I feel like a role reversal where he's like, it kind of just like
I mean,
niceness.
I don't know, like it was weird because I'm really visual myself. So even when I write scripts, I always like specify things, you know, this angle, this look and stuff. But first week when we were like kind of prepping the short film was weird, but then I kind of like just trusted, you know, this visual approach to my cinematographer, and then from there it was all like just good stuff, you know. And it was kind of easy, and we also have like a kind of similar vision, so that's that helped a lot. So yeah, basically as of right now, starting from like 8.5 years ago, right now, here's where I'm at. And hopefully it's not, it's just a beginning, you know, because it feels as a beginning, you know. Um,
I love that. I'm impressed that you wrote something that seems like such a different skill set than filming and directing and
you know, I was again back in my home country. I was really into music, and I was kind of like into rap music,
okay.
particularly. So I was like every day I was waking up, just first thing I like uh, brush my teeth, and then just I have my computer there, and you know, sit down, open Fruity Loops. Later on, it was Logic on Mac, and I was just starting making beats, you know, just every day, just beat. And then if I have a cool musical idea, then I was like, oh, and I pull up my uh, moleskin or whatever piece of paper I had, you know, and I just started, you know, rhyming. And I was writing since like I was like in 14, I think, because like
Oh,
first
amazing.
rap, I kind of started from 14, and then this is just the script form is it's kind of like more actiony prose, you know, it's characters. But I had all that when I was writing rap, you know, because I was always writing a storytelling, you know, I had a character, and I, you know, and there was like a story behind it always. So it's different, but I feel like I found home in writing, you know, just kind of just placing my brain, my soul just into the situation and imagining things, and then just typing. That's it. So yeah, I mean, it's different, but for me, it was just it felt like really organic thing, and I don't
I love
know.
that the rap prepared you for filmmaking. I wouldn't have
Yeah.
necessarily expected that, but it's a
I mean,
beautiful through line.
if you like listen to Eminem, for example, right? He's every song is just story, and really
Yeah.
fascinating story. And then you know they made the eighth mile, right? That's
8 Mile.
Yeah, I haven't seen
yeah.
it, but
I mean, it's a great film, great story, and you know he basically wrote it as a song prior to that. So
Hmm.
I, I don't know, you know, that
Well,
Wu-Tang Clan, if you take Wu-Tang Clan, like RZA, recently I rewatched Ghost Dog, I think, Jarmusch film. And, you know, there was RZA from Wu-Tang there. He made all the music. He starred in this film as well. So, you know, those are connected. Music in general and film are connected. So, you know, I'm just one of those myriads of people who like transition from kind of more weird, I would say more unfamiliar places, you know, like not like a film school and then, you know, just making films, but like music and making films, but they still kind of together, you know, I think.
yeah, they have the foundation of writing, right? You know,
Yes,
that kind
yes,
of
yes,
both come from that. So it makes
yeah,
sense. It makes sense
yeah.
that there's that crossover. But moving into your experience as, I'm assuming this is when you were a cinematographer or working as a cinematographer, but you mentioned something about shooting green screen, and I'm curious to know what kind of story comes when you're shooting green screen?
I mean, I think everyone knows that shooting anything on green screen is kind of pain,
I
because
hate
like,
shooting green screen.
yeah, yeah,
Anytime a client is like, let's do it on green screen, I'm just like,
yeah,
You think
oh
it's going to be
God.
so easy, but it's not.
Ugh.
yeah. I mean, uh, actually, I remember the second story as well, but I'll try to morph them together. So basically, the first one was just a part of a short film. I probably won't tell you like what exactly this film was about, but the
No,
thing
that's
is
fine.
like I worked with really, really experienced TV director. He's like, I don't know, I don't want to say names, but like he done like a lot of high profile things, um and then we do this little thing, and then we shot everything that we needed, like people on the green screen, like everything is fine. But then he comes to me and is like, "Hey, can you just shoot a green screen, just as is, without anybody, anything, And it's like, what what are you talking about? And then I need to like go and ask everyone. It's like, should I do that? Because like it's not, you're basically shooting air, right? It's
Yeah.
shooting green screen without anything on it. It's like, and I was thinking maybe I'm stupid, maybe I don't know something. So and it's just when I kind of figure out that maybe being a director with name, and working on big projects, it's not always guarantee you a knowledge, especially a technical knowledge. But for me, it was like, oh, he has to know, It's like
Okay,
it's just
hold up. He just wanted you to point the camera
yes.
at the green screen, and there's no actor,
There's
there's
yeah.
no nothing.
I mean, there's like a air particles between the green and the lens, and the sensor, but it's
What was his thinking? Like,
I don't
why he liked just like the green color? He was like, let's just get some green. That's
I
cool.
don't know. I have no idea, but it was like, I mean, I pressed record and we just waited for a little bit, but and then that's it. And after all, when we were actually working we were editing the short films and stuff like that, we became like friends. So he's a really great dude, a good person. He's a really great person. But like that request, and we didn't know each other back then that well, and now I understand, because like I guess when he was making those big projects, he was kind of like just surrounded by people who just knew stuff, and kind of like treat him only as a director, nothing else, bring him coffees, and kind of spoil him. Um, but um, but that was like his personal thing. It was like small, lower budget, just and he wanted to know everything, and maybe that's why this kind of request came. And also like he's kind of more old school, back then I don't think they even tried to understand. It's like, oh, like directors, oh, this camera does this, or this. I don't know, maybe I'm wrong, but I just had that feeling. um
That's pretty funny. Like everyone in the crew is just like thinking to themselves, like,
I mean, everyone
what?
thought like, oh, what's going on, it's like,
Yeah.
why are we doing
But you
this?
guys just go with it because it's what the director says, and you're like, okay, well, press
Yeah,
record, sure.
but they never used this shot in the end, so
I
Shocker.
was gonna ask,
Shocker.
yeah.
what purpose did this serve? I don't
it's it
know.
No, it was not in the movie.
No way, you don't say.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
And
Interesting.
another short thing, it was like, it was just like a pre-production request. I remember when it's a totally different production company, totally different people, and they just fell in love with this studio that has like green screen and a crane, and it's all just kind of working together like almost like Unreal Engine with a LED wall behind, but like it's kind of like generation prior. So basically, it's a green screen. You load a virtual background, you see people on this background, and they wanted to shoot like the whole entire narrative film, like feature film on it. I was like, and I was a part of it in the beginning. I eventually like said no because like it was just crazy, you know. And I saw the results. Just one of the crew members sent me the results. It's just it's awful. It's
Oh
just.
no.
But they maybe producers thought it's just cheaper, or like economically makes sense, and we'll be in one place. They were kind of like more volume production than like quality.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So and I don't know. I think in the end they didn't like the results. So because it was crazy. But that was requests like, oh, and I was kind of DP on that project, and they're like so happy, like, oh, we're going to shoot everything in one location. And I was like, what are you talking about? And like in the script, it's a house this, house that, exterior, interior, you know. And then yeah, they're just like, oh, we found this studio, boom, it's somewhere in Burbank, this green screen studio. And I'm like, no, it's not going to work. And when they said, oh, we are going to do this, I was like, I'm not doing this.
You,
Sorry.
You got out.
so they were trying to
Yeah.
just shoot like interior, exterior of like standard locations using Unreal.
I'm not sure if I think they used Unreal, but yes, basically. And also, it's not even like LED wall where actors can kind of see what's going on, like with, sight vision or whatever, like peripheral.
Yeah.
Um, it's just green. That's it, and
Oh, they were just straight on green screen.
yeah,
Oh, that's
I mean,
nice.
probably we would like build something, to kind of include in this green screen world. but
Yeah.
but even with like some physical objects, like it's like not it's boring. A, it's boring. B is like it just like people need to imagine where they are.
Yeah.
Uh,
Right. Yeah.
it, it's yeah. I think you can watch like a lot of videos about how actors really don't really like shooting a green screen, Marvel stuff, and it's just it feels
I
like a
can't
job,
remember who was it that had it was one of the actors from Lord of the Rings. I think they were shooting The Hobbit at this time though, but he had like a full on breakdown because he was just like having to act towards a tennis ball and he was just surrounded by green. And he's like, I'm a theater actor, like this
Yeah,
isn't what I do. So
yeah, yeah,
gosh, that's
It's a
crazy.
lot. I think some people will just get enamored with green screen too. Like I've had clients who wanted me to shoot like a whole, video for them on green screen and they just want to replace the green with black backdrop. And I'm like, well, why don't we just shoot it on a black
just
backdrop?
like
And they're
yeah.
like, well, no, because we could use the green screen. And it's like, what? Why? Like,
Let's utilize it. Let's
it's
use it.
like,
I don't know.
yeah,
I don't understand.
it's funny.
I'm really like advocating for reality and real things, and Unreal and LED walls are great when it's not possible to like shoot coverage safely, or you need to be like yeah in the top of the mountain, and the avalanche is going down, uh,
Fair.
so it makes sense, or we also Mandalorian like is a good example, right? That you can do some sci-fi stuff you can really do there,
Yeah.
because you eventually building stuff, but yeah, um, that was a bad idea. Green screen is like if I can stay out of it, I will
I'm
for
with
my
you.
whole career. Like no,
Only when it's necessary.
I'm with
yeah,
you.
yeah.
Well, I want to move into your next story. Our producer mentioned you wanted to share with us a story about an Armenian Jesus and Dolly Keys. Sounds
Yes.
intriguing.
Yes. So actually, for that one, I think we shot in Bisbee, Arizona. Really nice. Just over like I'm putting it in a setting. So you think of Arizona is like desert and scorching heat
Yeah.
and scorpions, but Bisbee is kind of located. You kind of go uphill and you go up and you go up, and in certain moment there's like green trees, and plants, and this oasis. I think it's like old coal mine city or something. And they have rains that we had like I don't know, it was like a flood when we were shooting there. Like for one day we stopped shooting because it was kind of dangerous. But beautiful place. If you happen to go there, go there is great. So we were shooting in this old theater on the stage, cool, really beautiful. And we had a gaffer. I remember in the beginning when I met him first time there, right? It was just kind of like sporadic, but um, in person, I see this Armenian guy, and I'm thinking, it's like this guy's crazy. Like I can't stand this guy, you know? It's just he's like he's making this inappropriate jokes, you know, like um sending people do like weird stuff. It was that was the first day, right? But then day three, four, we kind of like, you know, learn about each other more. And he opened up as a really like kind and uh, nice person and really interesting and smart. It's just like he just makes those kind of jokes. He and everyone laughs, by the way, you know, like he kind of keeps this energy high. Um, Sometimes it could be like really edgy, but he never crosses the line. He never crosses the line, whatever the line is.
Just brushed
I
up
think that
against it,
depends.
sounds
Yeah.
like.
Yeah. So in one thing he practiced, we had like a few PAs there, like always, right? Green, and trying to learn stuff, and we had he had I mean, it's not his department, but we were all kind of all together. Group department had Dolly PAs, and they were just like in this massive thing like Fisher. I think it was Fisher 11 Dolly, and this huge, heavy, kind of dangerous thing, right? If you don't know how to, use it. Um, and he's just like really serious, like face, everything, voice. It's like, hey, could you go and bring me Dolly keys, please? Like, just go ask someone to bring dolly keys. And dolly keys is not a thing. Like there's not. I mean, there's like a dolly keys in terms of like ratchet, not ratchet, the Allen wrench or something, right? But like actual keys to kind of like start it as a car, right? And then this person that just walks around asking everyone. Everyone's laughing, and he's and no one says that it's not true,
Yeah.
no one says, like everyone's just like poker face and playing along. And the other thing is
Wait.
this is
So
my
was the director just like messing with his PA?
no, that was a gaffer. That was
Oh, the
gaffer.
gaffer, the gaffer.
Yeah,
Was the
yeah,
gaffer just messing with him?
yes,
Yeah.
yes. He was just having fun,
Oh my
Um,
God.
and the
I
other
love when
thing is
everyone
like,
else is in on it.
yeah,
That's
and
hilarious. The PA probably was so perplexed. Oh my God.
I mean, they were kind of lost. They were like,
That's
okay,
cool.
it's got tension. It's like they need it. They need dolly keys. They won't go anywhere without,
The
actually
key.
starting it,
Yeah.
won't go forward. Um, but the other thing is like my favorite thing was a bag of T-stops. Uh, Basically, T-stop is it's like on the lens you have a focus ring and an iris ring. An iris ring it has the gradation of stops, right? Basically, what's the amount of light it passes through to the sensor. It's called T-stop. Um, it's like a 1.3, 1.5, 1.8, and whatever. Um, and there's nothing like a bag of tea stuff. It's not a physical thing at all. And that was like, because I'm more kind of camera oriented person, that was like crazy. I eventually I just told them, it's like there's nothing, like after like minutes and minutes
Wait,
of like tension.
when you said T stop, like a bag of T stops, I immediately think of like the markers on the ground that you can put for actors. Like they're like metal
Th- that
T.
was
Are
one
they
of the
called T stops
confusion.
as well? Okay, but they
Yeah.
were just like still screwing with them, being like, "Can you
Yeah,
have a
those
bag of
those are T marks, and I'm pretty
T
sure.
marks?" Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I'm not sure if they actually brought T marks, but maybe, it's kind of like, oh, T is a T.
Was this the
But like,
same PA that he did this to?
uh, I think it was like kind of gradual. I think we had like three or two PAs,
Okay.
and
So they're equally
Hunting
getting.
around for a bag of tea stops. That's
yeah,
funny.
yeah. So yeah, and he had more things like that. I just don't remember the other ones. But bag of tea stops is just like that's the. I never sent anyone any PA to find bag of tea stops or dolly keys, but I always thinking about that when I'm on on like first day on the set. I was like, what this person, what this gaffer would do, you know?
Yeah.
Right, yeah.
Keeping the pranks alive a little
Yeah, that'll
bit.
be like first things, like, okay, let's go. Yeah, and also like like he looked like he looks like a Armenian, but he had like really long hair, probably like this long, you know, really kind of curly, like beard, and he really like resembled, looked like Jesus, the Jesus Christ, you know. And he even was joking about that. Like in this old theater, he found a like a crucifix, like wooden crucifix this size with like head of the Jesus head in the middle, and he was just like taking photos with it. You know, it's like, I think
Really
eventually
heavily into that.
he took it back with him, you know, to LA. You know, and I think
So he was playing it up.
he still has it like in his house. So
That's hilarious. You
yeah.
gotta tell him to go try out for the Hunky Jesus competition in San Francisco they do every year.
Oh
But
wow,
he
is
I
that a
think
thing?
Yeah.
he shaved his head now. So
Oh,
yeah, he needs like
he's
it's,
destroyed his Jesus look.
yes. So yeah, he was super fun. And then we worked on other jobs. I remember we worked on the System of a Down music video together, and it was funny because like everyone, pretty much everyone, I mean, System of a Down, they're Armenian, right, guys. Um, and the whole crew Armenian, and I'm the only one who's like Georgian and Russian. But so they were kind of laughing at me, making jokes because this Georgian, you know, you don't belong here,
Oh my
stuff like that.
God.
But that was just it was just a joke. I hope.
He sounds like a character and full of
He
jokes, that's
is.
for sure.
Yeah. He is. Uh, he's a great dude. Yeah. But like my first thought is like, oh my God, I will never work with this guy again. And then we worked a bunch of times.
So he won you over, but it took a little time. Yeah.
He kind of, but like he didn't use any effort, you know, or he didn't try to win me over. Like he
Okay.
just like he was just himself. That's it.
You
He
You
just
just
just need
grew
to,
live up
on
to
you.
him.
Yeah.
yes, you just need to know him better.
Yeah.
That's it.
You know, it just takes some time, you know.
Yeah.
Just give people a chance. First impressions are not always, you know, the best sometimes. But
But that was massive first impression. Trust me.
I can only imagine.
I
With
was
this
like,
man
wow.
who looks like Jesus, just like
Yeah.
spouting out, you know, some gnarly
Yeah, the
jokes.
most inappropriate things, you know.
What a funny combo.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that
yeah.
A
makes for
vulgar
some.
Jesus.
I
Vulgar
mean, that makes
Jesus.
for an entertaining person for sure. So
Yeah.
I'm sure that was a lively set you were working on. But
Yeah.
moving on to one of your other talking points, I hear that you have a story about Kobe Bryant. Like, what is this? I've
Oh,
never
it's
heard
actually
this, and I've like known you for a while now.
it's kind of more a sad story, you know. It's the way it affected the set. So basically I was shooting a short film that was like somewhere in the Long Beach, and the vibes were good, like everything. Everyone's just like feeling having a great time. And then just one of the PAs, he was on the phone. The news broke, right, about Kobe and his daughter, right, the helicopter crash and stuff. And then after that, like just everyone just, you know, we kind of stopped shooting from there, you know.
Mm.
It's just the way, because that was the question, is like what affected, you know. And I was thinking in terms of like what kind of in my experience, what actually really affected in a different way, right? Good,
Yeah.
bad, weather, whatever. And I don't, I had things, you know, like we stopped shooting because of the lightning and this and that. But I think this was the most heavy thing that ever happened on set. I didn't witness anyone, you know, dying on the set. Injuring, yes, but that was actually the closest of someone actually dying on the set, because like we all kind of knew Kobe Bryant in terms of like, yeah, how what kind of person he was, right? Um, and yeah, and in our crew we had like a few really kind of hardcore fans of it's Lakers, right? It's just it's the team, right? And yeah, after that we kind of try to shoot something, but it's just like, and it was kind of beginning of the day, so we're like, okay, let's wrap this up, and we'll continue, tomorrow. So, but that was actually the thing that I think the most affected the most, like the set what I worked at. Yeah, I think that was the most powerful thing so far.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, I remember that day crystal clear, especially, if you were shooting here in LA, like everyone has some sort of like emotional attachment to Kobe Bryant, his career and what he stood for as, as the athlete, the amazing athlete that he was.
Yeah,
So, yeah, I mean, it was essentially like national news. So I can imagine that it
yeah,
really like put a damper on things when the news broke, and you know so you guys ended up like wrapping that day and not
yeah,
shooting that day
yeah,
because
yeah,
of it. Wow.
So
yeah.
like,
I
yeah,
mean,
that's kind of crazy. It totally derailed you for the day, but it makes sense. Everyone was kind of processing and like so shaken up.
yeah, and also like if you think about it, like for example, that was a short film, kind of more low key situation. But if it was like a big production, right, and then producers wasting money, and
Yeah.
you know, for example, being on producer side, right? It's kind of hard to do, because like you kind of, oh, we're wasting this day, but this is crazy. It's like people can't work. People just like, I don't know, just that they need time. So I kind of like put myself in the shoes of like other people, who were, I was just like cinematographer and just shooting things. Um, it's not like I organized this thing, worked on this, like put money into it. It's a little bit different experience, but still, they understood, and we kind of decided to. It's like nothing good will actually come out.
Yeah,
Yeah,
no, that makes sense. That makes sense. And sometimes you just need to like step away and have an emotional break, and it's kind of nice when you do have the opportunity to do that on a set. Maybe things do suffer, maybe you do lose a day, but everyone's emotional well-being is very important to
yeah,
the process anyway.
People calling
yeah,
the shots don't always recognize that. So that's nice that it was kind of a smaller project that you guys were
yeah,
able to
yeah,
take that
yeah,
way. Yeah.
yeah. I'm kind of curious, like what other crews did that day. It's
Well,
like
what
if
everyone
if
else was doing that day.
Yeah.
yeah, it's like if there's a whatever, someone would write a book, like uh, gather all the stories of all of the crews that were big and small, and how people reacted on this. Did they stop? Did they continue? Or well, that's, I don't know. That's crazy.
Enjoying this episode? You can find the extended version via the link below.
While you're there, please give us a like. It really helps us out.
Well, David,
Yeah.
this has been so fun. Thank you so much for sharing all of your
Hey,
stories.
no problem. No problem. Those are not all, but that's
A little
that's what I have
taste.
We can
right now.
definitely invite you back. We welcome you back anytime.
I'll love to. Thank you.
Is there anything that you're working on right now that you wanted to share with us? And do you want to share where people can follow you, find you online?
So basically, I mean, it's Instagram, obviously. Like we all kind of on Instagram right now. Even when you go there, you're like, oh, let me just check it, and then it's an hour ago, and you're like, oh my God, my life is
We're all
wasted.
victims.
I
Yeah.
feel you on that.
So yeah, it's at migrant kind. It's like a mankind, but migrant kind. Um, and I have a website. It's Davyd Asambadze, but it's just my reel is there, and pretty much nothing else. But in terms of working and developing, like I mentioned before in the beginning, last year I shot a proof concept. It's called Teardrop. It's a short film about a person who is not able to sense or feel emotions, and only pure human tears are able to return everything back. So basically, it's like this tear drinking junkie trying to find more tears, more sources. Let's say. And basically, yeah, wrote a feature script, and now pretty much like in shopping around stage with a few producers. I don't know. They said they like it and it's interesting. Hopefully, but yeah, that's what I'm working right now, and just somewhere there, people reading it, and as well, while it's out there, developing a proof of concept for this year as well, because I kind of made myself this. Last year, I kind of told to myself, it's like, okay, every year you'll do proof of concept and you write a feature script or pilot. So basically, this year it's a pilot for a limited series, and I know it's not a good thing, or people don't do that. People don't shoot proof of concept for TV stuff, right? They shoot pilots, but I still want to do proof of concept because, like with Teardrop, for example, it brought me some attention. The fact that we shot it and the fact that I had something to show brought a lot of interest. Without it, it would be just like paper, and letters, and you know how people read right now. So it's really hard to ask someone to read your 120-page script. And care.
Easier to envision and like kind of see what you're dreaming up and capable of.
Yeah. So basically, that's what I'm at right now. That's what all my attention, time, and money kind of like channeling.
I would say, I mean, you've got quite some goals. It's very ambitious to want to do this every single year. I know a lot of people who don't do it every year, so it's impressive.
I mean, 3 years, and then we'll see what will happen, because at this point they will kind of start overlapping, right? And maybe the first thing will work, or the second thing. I don't know, but I feel like I have this kind of epiphany last year. It's like, oh, let's do this, because again, shooting those like smaller features, right? With smaller budgets and people like so ambitious, and sometimes they don't know what they're doing, not enough prep, and this all like taught me, and I learned so much, how not to, and on other sets where it's actually was like great productions, good crew and good vibes, I learned how to do it. So now I kind of ready to, I don't know, express and create something with like-minded people, let's say.
Well, I love that. I'm excited to see what all you come up with. So we'll be sure to follow what you're doing, David.
Thank you.
Well, that's it for Shoot the Shit. Thank you for joining us.
Join us for the next shit show.
No Longer Network.